big truck, tell them where this plane going.
Now as we land in Montego Bay, it's like that,
It's
y'all.
like
Coming
that,
from
y'all.
Jamaica, you know that it's a fact,
And it's
y'all.
a fact,
The
y'all.
truck in Case Bay, now we rock and ride. Now we sippin' on Bahama Mamas when we ride. Shalom, shalom. You already know what this is about, the King's Table. Very important. Black men's mental health. It goes unreported, the struggles that we all deal with day to day. And shout out to Brother Curtis Jasper for sharing his testimony. And I'm so honored to share his testimony here at the King's Table so that we can drive this home, so we can really put the stamp on it. Without further ado, let's spit fire.
Death, depression, divorce, debt, devastation, deadbeat, despair. There is a black male mental health struggle. I became a therapist in therapy. The unsustainability of black male trauma, black male rage, black male resentment is a real thing, an unsustainable thing. So what's the struggle? 1 in 4 psychologists are black. And when I say black, I mean that includes black men and black women. According to the American Psychological Association, 4% psychologists worldwide, in this country, are black. For every 100,000 black Americans, only 1 black psychiatrist. 7% of black men receive any form of mental health services in the last couple years. Black youth, particularly black boys, are introduced with the struggle of mental health at a very early age. It's treated in elementary school by suspension, special education referrals. What's the black struggle? That's it. The inadequacy of practitioners who look like black men who have a unique experience with mental health. Right? What does that mean for all of us? The current mental health industry does not sustain black male trauma.
I also believe that, to add to that, a lot of things go unreported. You know, not documented properly. You know, I remember, you know, in school, you know, high school, junior high, you know, elementary, you know, I've always had energy. I've always been hyper. Well, he got, what is it, when you're over EHD, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, you know, he needs to be in a special class, or he's different, or, you know, something's wrong with him because he's extra hyper. That got nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. But you see the label that they put on the youth, the label that they try to put on me. Thank God that I had a dad, I had a father that spoke so many languages and studied and was a teacher in his prime as well. Like, no, he's just he's hyper, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they make it where it is a problem. Something's wrong with your child because they're hyper, where they're children. And he's supposed to be excited and run around and things, jump around and things of that sort. That don't mean something's wrong with them. Or we need to put them on medication or put them in a class. The devil is a lie, and your mama too. See, those are the things where it starts when we're young. And if we don't know no better, we feed into that. Y'all get it, let's continue.
Rage, blackmail, resentment. Which means we have to look at the factors that are uniquely attributed to blackmail in this country. What makes me qualified to talk about blackmail mental health struggle? Well, beyond the obvious of being a black male, I crashed 2008, the year the mortgage industry crashed, real estate market, right? That same year, my mother informed me she had stage 4 cancer. In 2009, I became a father for the 4th time. This time was unique because the child was already 21 years old, which means right before my 17th birthday, I had a child. In 2010, my mother ended up passing away from cancer. Moved her from Chicago to Georgia before the diagnosis. Lived out a golden year until the son of the South. She worked with me and for me. She ended up passing. 2011, I went to what I now label as a very eventful divorce. I lost everything. I walked away from it. I lost my family, my spouse at the time away from the children, assets, things of that nature. In 2012, I experienced my very first panic attack. Found myself in the middle of a public park here in Atlanta, lying on my back, crying profusely for what seemed like hours. In 2013, I had my second panic attack. This one was different. This one, I was with a partner at the time, and she said that she overheard me saying some things that were troubling. Later on that day, I had a special event I needed to be at. My friend at the time took me to the local emergency room because as black males, that is how we address our mental health struggles, right? It really gets to a point.
Let me start right there. As you can see, the chain of events that took place in Mr. Jasper's life, the chain of events, it was like blow after blow after blow after blow. And as I listened to the brother share, it brings me back to my time in the wilderness, the things that I was faced with in 2019. Gone through an unnecessary divorce, being married 14 months, having significance of blows just coming, being put out on the street. On top of that, not knowing, fighting for my marriage, not able to sleep, had 2 mild heart attacks. The worst thing is to try to fight for something, someone, and they don't love you. They already done checked out. That's the coldest feeling in the world. Then going back into my past and facing my past with my mother, that was another. As the brother shared, there's so much that we've been hit with. It can send us over the edge if we allow it to. How do you cope with that? How do you handle that? When life hands you stuff and you find yourself in a storm and you fighting for your life, you fighting for your peace of mind, you fighting for your health. How do you do it? How do you get through it? Crying for help. Wishing someone can just help you. Just have all the answers so that you don't have to suffer no more. Black men's voice is not being heard. Overlooked. Opinions is overlooked. Suck it up, man up. Put your big boy boots on. Your voice has no power here, has no say so. Just deal with it. You're a man. Be a man. Say it with your chest. I beg to differ. Men bleed. Men cry. Men have feelings. Men have emotions. Men are broken. It broke me. And we're going to stop because we're going to come back and do a part 2 to this one. See, men's mental health broken. Part 1. We're going to do men's mental health broken part 2. And we're going to bring it home. See, if men can be held accountable for their doing, so can women. At some point, you're going to have to be held accountable. I forgive you for what you've done to me. I forgive you for the hurt and pain that you put me through when I've done nothing but try to love you. I've done nothing but try to do right by you. Did I have flaws? Yes, I did. But I'm man enough to admit that. Until then, your soul's in question. Shalom.